Hello Rebrand gang, and welcome to episode 51 of Rebrand Everything, the weekly graphic design show where I redesign the logo of big or famous companies. This week we are going to be rebranding 7-Eleven. Let's get into it. So just in case you don't already know, 7-Eleven is a convenience store that has lots of locations worldwide. Although it is called 7-Eleven, it's actually open 24 hours a day. Their name comes from back in 1946, where being open from 7 in the morning until 11 at night was all new and exciting and unheard of. It's really interesting that they actually changed their whole company name just to focus on that USP. Anyway, fast forward to the current year, and being open from 7 in the morning till 11 at night isn't quite that revolutionary or new anymore. But at this point in time, 7-Eleven has become a big enough name to pull it off. Also, their quirky name might act as a nice little reminder of their groundbreaking past. So let's have a close look at their logo. So the first thing I noticed when looking at this is the lowercase n on the end of the word 11. Apparently the reason for this was for the smoothness of the graphic. I'm not a big fan of mixing upper and lowercase, so I would prefer to see a normal capital N or maybe a capital N with a rounded corners perhaps if it felt like it needed to be smoothed out a bit. But I don't think I would resort to using a lowercase n on the end of this. When I was doing the research and looking around the internet for information on the logo, I noticed there was quite a few articles and videos online praising the way that the design is optically centered instead of mathematically. I'd agree with this. I think the logo looks balanced, and you can see that it's been designed well so that it will work in single colour uses, and also it's scalable. If you made that small, it's still going to retain all of its detail. I think overall the logo is good, but there are just a few points that I want to kind of address in today's project. So the first of them points is the overall shape of the whole logo. Currently the logo's footprint is a rectangle that's taller than it is wide. Now, as 7-Eleven is an actual shop, arguably the most important place that this logo appears is on the shop's doors, helping guide customers in. This tall rectangle logo shape doesn't fit so well on the signs outside their stores. I know in some places in America they have them big tower signs outside, but I'm talking about the signs that are actually over the front window and the front door. It just doesn't seem to fit that well. And I suppose these coloured stripes that they use have become quite recognisable, but I still would prefer to see that logo just take up a little bit more space on that sign. And you can see that in the majority of these pictures, the logo has been made very small and centred on the sign, which just feels like a little bit of a waste of space. It's kind of like the main use case for this logo has been compromised by the available space. When researching, I did also notice that some of the stores use a landscape variant of the logo, but it looks like this is an exception and not the norm. The final thing that I'm finding hard to ignore on this logo is the slight misalignment at the top of the 7. I know it's a minor issue, but I think if there's ever a time to be pedantic and perfectionist, then that time is exactly when you are designing a logo. So now we've looked at the logo, I want to look at everything that surrounds the logo. I want to see how they use the logo, what fonts they use, what colours they use, what style imagery. And to do that, I'm going to look on their website. So when I look at this website to see their brand identity, it definitely feels like they're keeping things up to date. The text is written in a friendly and conversational tone, and the overall design is kind of quirky and interesting. The logo looks a little bit too small in the header. This is a similar situation to the signs out the front of their shops. It's not making the best use of the available space. I noticed that on the coffee cup in their hero graphic, they have used a landscape version of the logo. This is weird to me because a coffee cup would actually be the perfect size to fit the actual rectangular logo. Maybe they could do something like this instead to keep it more consistent. In this landscape version of the logo that they have used on the cup, the lowercase n on the word 11 looks extra weird, and also now that the 7 has been scaled down, it's lost all of its weight and the style of it feels unbalanced next to the rest of the lettering. So that's just my opinion of the 7-Eleven logo. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Actually scroll down and comment. I'm genuinely interested to hear what you say. I'm just going to wait here till you're done. Okay, cool. Let's start sketching out some ideas. So now that the research was done, it's time to sketch out some ideas. As always, I was just firing out all of the ideas I had in my head. By not ruling anything out at this stage, it helps me end up with a lot of ideas and a lot to work with later when it's time to pick out the ideas for development. As this company name is 2 numbers, it leaves me with a lot of ways to write it. Either the number written out in full or just using the number itself, or a combination of both. Another idea that started to come through was the idea of using the position of the numbers on a clock. I was trying to maybe weave this in as a subtle reference to their opening hours of the past. During the idea process, I wasn't worrying about colours, as I like to make sure every logo I make works when it's reduced down to a single colour anyway. So I find the best way to do this is by starting out in black and white only. This way I don't get reliant on colours to differentiate the shapes. So this is what I came up with while sketching. Now it's time to choose which ideas to develop up in Illustrator. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to press like, it really helps the channel out. Let's get on with it.
1.
So my first step for option 1 was to make some adjustments to the actual 7 shape. I made a few small refinements just to tidy up a couple of loose ends, the kind of things that no one would ever notice, but overall it just makes a cleaner look. Once I was happy with the 7, I spent some time adjusting fonts and colours to see what worked best. In the current logo they use a lowercase n on the end so it doesn't feel too sharp and harsh at the end of the word. So for my option I decided to follow this idea and try some lowercase text for the word 11. I really don't like the colours that they use for the actual 7-Eleven logo, but they are so distinctive that I thought I should keep some memory of the previous logo so that the current customer base don't get confused and think it's a completely different shop. I developed the logo on one notch further by adding a box behind the word 11. This made the number 7 look stronger, as it also added the crossbar that some people draw on 7s when they write them out. And then once I had the box behind it, I didn't like how the lowercase text looked, so I used uppercase text and I used a font called Chalet, and I mixed different weights of that or different styles of that just so I had these curved ends. But then I did actually outline the text and curve the N as well, as there didn't seem to be a curvy capital N in the font Chalet.
2.
So for option 2, I wanted to build my own number 7 so that I could have full control over the look and feel. I ended up with a 7 that's similar but a little bit more curvy and friendly looking. As I wanted this design to be wider than it is tall so that it works better on the website headers and shop fronts, I needed to find a way to incorporate the word 11 next to the 7 instead of under it or over it. I used Gotham Rounded, as this was a way that I could still use capital letters so it keeps the strong, powerful feel from the old logo without feeling quite as shouty. Once I had this, I saw a little opportunity in the dead space above my new bubble holding the 11. By putting the 11 in twice, it's kind of weird, but there was something cool about how it looked, so I just ran with it. When developing colours, I thought that sticking to 2 colours would be best so that it didn't get too messy. I ended up using the orange for the 7 and green for both the 11 numerals and the wording so that there was a clear link between them.
3.
So for option 3, I wanted to create a version where I used the name of the company typed out in full letters. I had an idea to use a different typeface weight to differentiate the 2 words, so I started out by seeing which font worked best for this. Although a lot of the fonts that I chose were similar, some of them just had the look I was after, so I started working on a cheeky little icon to sit with this. The icon I made isn't something I would usually create, as it's a little bit thin and curvy, whereas I normally like fat and hard edged logos, but for some reason I quite liked how this was looking. The shape of this kind of clashed with the text right up until I tried right aligning the words, which left this nice little gap for the icon to slot in nicely. For the colours, I didn't feel like the bold and brash current palette was going to work, so I looked up what the sky looks like in the morning to represent the 7, and then found a picture of the night sky and took a sample from that for the colour of the 11. I quite like the style of this logo, and I definitely like the idea of taking the colour of the sky and putting that in the logo as like a subtle link that could be maybe developed for the rest of their branding. But looking at the actual icon itself, I do think it could be smoothed and spaced a little better, but I think the concept would work. What do you think?
4.
So for option 4, I'd drawn out this ribbon idea that I wanted to try and bring into action. I started out by finding a font that had different widths available so that I could make the word 7 the same width as the word 11 without stretching the word or making them different sizes. This font called Acumen has a wide cut, which is handy for situations like this. I chose all caps for maximum shoutiness and impact. From here I just made 2 boxes that held the text. Super simple idea to link the 2 ribbons was just to duplicate one of the boxes and then use the direct selection tool to drag the other side of the box down to line up with the box below. And then make the colour darker by adding some black in the CMYK mixer, and we were good to go. In the sketch I had a little 7 and a little 11 hanging from the top right of each box, but in reality this was just too much. It made it just look unbalanced and a little bit ugly.
5.
So for option 5, I wanted to try something a little bit more abstract but that still had some sort of link and meaning. On a clock face, 11 and 7 are on the same side of the clock. And if you follow down the hands and link the two numbers, it makes a right-handed arrow, which is conveniently a positive shape and implies movement, which could tie in with a quick pop into a shop. So with this in mind, I developed a clock icon and exaggerated this arrow. The smaller circle in the middle was to highlight the 7 to 11 point, even though actually it would be all the way around the clock and then past it again, but that's just going to get too confusing for a logo, so I'm just gonna put that circle in for now. And also the secondary reason for that was just to add a little bit more colour in a pleasant way that wasn't too intrusive. As this logo looks very different to their current logo, I wanted to keep the colours similar so it's a smoother transition between current and new logo. Just don't want to confuse the customers any more than we have to. I'm only really keep mentioning the colours in this logo design project because I actually really don't like the colours that were used in the original logo. It just looks so much better in black and white. Like almost everything I developed just looked much better in black and white. And I think, like I said earlier, it's good to design them in black and white, but a lot of the time for a company like this, I don't want to move just to black and white because it's just not going to fit. People will think it's a completely different shop, or if you change the colours completely, people, I don't know, they just won't understand and won't register it with the brand that you've built up over like 100 years or however long they've been going. Okay then, Rebrand gang, so just before I show you them final options, I just want to remind you to press the little button up here and vote for your favourite option, then head straight down to the comments below and let me know what you think. Press like on this video if you like it, it really helps the channel out, and press subscribe and put the bell on so you're the first to watch next week's video and every week after that. Okay then, Rebrand gang, let's see them final options.